what I was saying about your kids being able to feel safe. We have dealt with people in our lives that the kids do not feel comfortable around. And sometimes it's just the child. We have one child in our family, Uriah. It's just, if anyone's watching this video, Uriah is our more standoffish kid. My other kids are very, they very much like to hug people. They very much start chatting with people right away. If you ask them a question, they'll answer right away. Uriah was raised in the exact same way as the other kids, and he is more standoffish. If you ask him a question, he might hide behind mommy. He doesn't want to give a hug, and I don't force him to give a hug if he doesn't want to. So your kids need to feel safe. And if your kids are very uncomfortable around somebody, asking your kids to give that person, I don't know, to try to please that person can sometimes show your child that they don't get to make decisions for themselves. And in the long run, that can hurt your child. So I understand that kids should listen, and if I tell my child to say hi to you, he should say hi, and I get all that. But we have had people who find Uriah very rude because he doesn't answer their questions. But I don't force my kids to do those things, because as a young adult, older teenager, I was abused by somebody that I should have been able to trust. I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty about that, but I want my kids to be able to tell me that person doesn't make me comfortable. This situation doesn't make me comfortable. I don't want to answer this person's questions. I don't want to give a hug. I don't want this person to tickle me, whatever the situation is. I want my kids to feel like they have, they can make decisions for themselves, and that their no means no, and they can keep themselves safe, and that mommy and daddy are going to keep them safe. So I don't want my kids feeling like somebody wants to give them a hug and they're shying away from it, and mommy's like, no, just go do it. Just go do it. We had this situation today. We went to the store and saw an old time, somebody we've known for a long time. And because of COVID and just her situation, we haven't given her a hug in years. Not that we have anything against her. She just hadn't wanted that. And so today when we were at the store, I asked her, I said, are you ready to give hugs? And so we got a hug, and it was great. And so she's like, oh, and she wanted to give the kids hugs, which is fine. And I said, Uriah may not want to give you a hug. And she's like, that's fine, Uriah, that's okay. And as she walked over to one of the other kids who was closer to Uriah, he kind of backed away, and she's like, don't worry, I'm not coming towards you, it's okay. And she was just very respectful of that space that he wanted. Where we've had other times where Uriah doesn't want to give a hug, so then somebody will start, poking him in the belly or tapping his head or whatever it is. And that's not allowing a kid to feel safe, I guess is what I want to say. I feel sometimes as adults, we think we're being silly with a kid, and we're actually making a kid very uncomfortable. And we find, we have this, some people have an issue with special needs kids, like kids with autism, things like that they find those kids to be very rude and feel like you should teach them how to read social cues and things. And I've discovered that there's a lot of adults in this world who don't read social cues at all, and they don't have a reason, like autism or something. They don't have a reason that they're not understanding the social skills, those social cues. They just want to do what they want to do, and they get mad that you're trying to protect your child. Those type of people, you need to be willing to stand up and say, no, this is important for my child. But also teaching our children to use their words when they're not wanting something. So this son that I was talking about who doesn't like to give hugs, it is okay for him to say, could I give a high five? Something that he feels comfortable with, or to tell somebody let's say you have a friend, Bob, who likes to play with the kids, and some of the kids like to get down on the floor and, I don't know, crawl around on the floor and pretend they're all lions with Bob, like, I don't know, I'm just making something up. But your one child doesn't feel comfortable. He can say, I don't really want to play that game, but could we play tic-tac-toe? I don't really want to play that game, but I have this book. Could we read this book together? And having your kids get a voice. But if your kid's too young for that, so I have a 2.5-year-old, almost 3-year-old, but he's still kind of the age that he might not be able to do that. So let's say my mom isn't this person, but I'm just saying, let's say my mom comes over and she wants to, I don't know, the kids like to play clapping games with mom, but one of my sons doesn't like the noise of it. Josiah doesn't like the noise of it because it sets off his seizures. He could say, Grandma, that game's bothering my head, but could we, whatever. But if it was a younger child, I might take up the responsibility and say, Grandma, that game's bothering, you probably don't know it, but that game is bothering so-and-so, Malachi. Malachi's my 3-year-old. That game's bothering Malachi, but Malachi really likes Chutes and Ladders. How about I get that out and you guys can play that? For my mom knows this. My mom hums all the time. She just does it. She doesn't even think about it. And sometimes it bothers Mark, my husband, because of his dystonia. And so I have to say, hey, Mom, could we stop humming right now? She doesn't even know she's doing it. And she doesn't get offended that I mention it to her, but she just doesn't even realize. And I could in my head be like, I don't know how to address my mom. I don't know what I should say. Maybe I'm being a bad daughter. Or I could just say, Mom, I don't think you realize it, but that's bothering Mark right now. Could you stop? Or having Mark speak up. I'm just trying to say it from a kid's point of view. So just teaching your kids to have a voice too, to say, I don't like this right now. I'm not comfortable with this. I'd rather do something else. I'm going to go sit on my bed and read a book. Any of those things, the things that can help your kid feel safe in these situations too. So that's my discussion on boundaries. If you have more things you'd like me to talk about, more situations that I could address, that's okay. If this has to do with somebody who is not, I know there's more to say about physical family that you feel some obligation to, or like your church family. But there are times that you just have to say to a friend, we need to stop this relationship right now, or we just need to step back for a little while. And you don't have to give them a reason. Sometimes just for the sanity of your family, you need to do that, and that is okay. So if you have a situation you either personally want to talk to me about, or a situation you want me to make another video about, please let me know. Sorry, our videos have been a little sporadic recently. We've just had a lot going on in a good way. And I'm making these videos. This is not an income for us. This is not my job. My job is to teach and train my children to be a wife to my husband and to encourage our church body. And those are the things that I'm focusing on right now. And when I have time to make videos, I will. So you will see me when you choose to, but I'm also not going to be bound to the camera screen because I want to be doing the things that God has for me right now. So thank you for watching us on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. We'll see you guys next time.